To quote Melinda Gates, philanthropist and former multimedia producer, developer, and manager at Microsoft, a woman with a voice is, by definition, a strong woman. For this year's International Women's Day, whose theme is inspiring inclusion, we have a very special episode for you with two remarkable women who are making a difference in Luxembourg's tech industry. Vasiliki Moschou, who is IT Business Analyst at Arcelor Mittal and co-managing director of Girls in Tech Luxembourg, and Yoliana Bayona, who, besides her role as Business Development and Partnerships Manager in Girls in Tech Luxembourg, is also a Director in Technology Advisory at PwC Luxembourg. As members of Girls in Tech Luxembourg, they are helping other women to shape their voice in the typically male-dominated tech field. Girls in Tech is a non-profit organization founded in 2007 whose goal is to eliminate the gender gap in tech by offering education, mentoring, and networking opportunities to girls and women. The organization strives to create a community of like-minded women who support and encourage one another. Today, over 120,000 people from around the world are part of it. In this episode, we talk to Vasiliki and Yoliana about their journeys in the tech industry, the challenges and opportunities they have faced as women in tech, and the mission and impact of Girls in Tech Luxembourg. I'm your host, Christopher Rosa, and this is Tech Talk, technology made simple over a cup of coffee. So grab your favorite beverage and let's dive right into it.
Welcome to a new episode of Tech Talk. Today we're going to talk with two passionate advocates for women's empowerment in tech.
Indeed, Carla, and today, I'm surrounded with three very inspiring women, so very happy to be here for this episode. But welcome Yoliana and welcome Vasiliki.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's start by getting to know you. If you can tell us a bit about yourself, why you are here and why you are joining today, and maybe how did you get to help empower women in the tech field, and more specifically, how did you get involved with Girls in Tech in Luxembourg?
Do you want to start, Vasiliki?
I can start, yes. Thank you again for having us today. While we are here, I think we all take the opportunity to celebrate the International Women's Day in March. And with this occasion, we would like to share a bit more about who we are, what we do, in order to help and support more women feel more empowered in the field of tech. So from my side, I have studied computer science. I was not one of the girls that really loved to go into tech, but I discovered that I loved it through the work that I was doing. I was initially helping with e-learning techniques and creating video content to support and explain other tools to users. And then I realized that I wanted to go more into coding and into building web applications full end. Then this drove me into discovering other things about myself. Even though I loved coding, I realized that I had a lot of lack of self-confidence, and that made my journey to tech a bit more difficult because I was not confident enough even to share what I was doing, even to make questions and discover more things in the work environment. And this was one of the reasons that I also decided to go more one step further and find out more about how can I belong into a community with women that can support each other and can find out more about tech. And that's how 2 years ago I decided to start the initiative of Girls in Tech Luxembourg, where we built a community that helps creating initiatives for young girls, women, whether they go to the university, whether they are studying or they are changing their careers or they just want to upskill, to find opportunities to connect with each other and to learn more about tech. In a few words, I can share more later if you want.
Of course, we will want to hear all about it. Thank you so much for sharing. And I can definitely relate with the self-confidence part. I think a lot of women sometimes lack the self-confidence to for their jobs.
It seems to be like a common matter, not only for tech, and I have seen lately more and more, Carla. So I can take my
please, Yoliana,
to introduce myself. So I have been working in different technology areas for more than 20 years. So now you can guess my age. So I am a systems engineer. I started my career in database topics, data warehouse. After that, I had the opportunity to start working for a Big Four. In the Big Four, I work mainly on risk technology topics. I started doing a little bit of security, technology, process risk and controls, audits for technology. And at some point in my career, my focus completely changed. I had the opportunity to go into consulting jobs, and since around 10 years, I am doing now more advisory for our customers to go through digital transformations, to automate processes, to help them with some of these complex transformations and solution implementations to make their life easier. Why I'm here? Because in all this long career, actually, I struggle. I had faced many situations, as you mentioned before, where I didn't feel that confident. But I also realized it with time that this was, at some point, coming from the fact that I was kind of the minority on the room. Today, I am director at PwC in the advisory technology area, and I can say that I am the only women director in this department. So I see myself many times, yes, very much surrounded by men, which is not a problem at first sight. But when you lack a role model, when you lack, the feminine energy around, it's probably not that easy to understand, but it creates probably these questions, and you start trying to simulate probably other behaviors or learning other things where you don't necessarily fully fit into that. So from there, I got a specific interest to start working into bringing more women in our departments. And especially for me, my first objective is how to help to get more women in our leadership in technology areas at PwC. From there, I started to explore and attend more events related to women empowering, and I had the chance, I think I was lucky to find in one of these events, I met Patricia first, then Vasiliki. That was at a very early stage of the association, Girls in Tech, and then I could join them into this nice objective. There was, 1 year and a half, it's going to be almost 2 years, yes. Ago, that we embark into this mission to promote more girls in technology.
So just to clarify, Patricia is the other managing director.
Correct.
Co-managing director with you.
Exactly.
But I guess you will tell us more as well about the Girls in Tech Luxembourg mission, or maybe even Girls in Tech in general, because it's not just in Luxembourg, right?
Yes. So Girls in Tech was founded in 2007 in San Francisco, and the headquarters today are in Nashville, Texas. So basically it was a small organization with the aim to create initiatives to eliminate the gender gap in technology, and they started growing so fast that they ended up creating several chapters all around the world with different teams representing the same purpose of Girls in Tech. And each chapter in the world is fully autonomous in order to organize their own initiatives, to form their own volunteering team, as non-profit companies, of course, associations. And then each country can really find what is missing from the community that they are, and organize all kinds of events, from workshops, technical workshops, soft skill trainings, either to learn a programming language or a tool to use, networking events, mentorship programs, hackathons, and you can keep thinking of different activities that you can do that really match the community that we have. So on my side, it was 3 years ago that I found out about Girls in Tech from the Greek chapter. And I came immediately in contact with the managing director from Greece. I wanted to find out more how I could even support, even remotely, because I was already living in Luxembourg. And when I had all the information available to me, I still wanted to do something more active here in Luxembourg. And at that moment, I was not involved in any other association. I did not have a lot of information. And I was like, you know what? Let me just make an application, ask Girls in Tech, reach out to Girls in Tech headquarters, find out more information about how they work, and see if I could apply as managing director. So the journey started. After a few interviews, I got accepted to start this initiative. And the first thing I had to do was find a team. And this is the first and most important thing that I think even after 2 years later, we still find it as one of our highest values, the team and the volunteers that form this association. So slowly, after a couple of months, I think through a Facebook group, I found Patricia. Mm-hmm. We connected immediately. And then slowly we started looking for people to support us, because no matter how many ideas we have, if we don't have the right people to help build this network, we cannot progress. So it was during summer, only a few months after, where we met with Yoliana, and we started creating all this journey from being a small team of 3-4 people in the beginning. Then we onboarded, it was last March 2023, where we had even 15 volunteers. And now we have already reached to approximately 40 volunteers. Mm-hmm. We have organized several kinds of events. We have a diversity on the events we are doing so far, because we want to show to the community of Luxembourg that we can support all aspects of activities. From very technical events, from networking events aimed to be even for small children going in school, or to more senior profiles. And now we are in a phase where we also want to build a better strategy in our association, so that we make sure that we are sustainable over the next years.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And I think it's great that you start with girls in schools, because you have to start from
this is my favorite part too. I love it, and you can see really the impact that it has, even if because the activities we do are not only limited to girls. We want to bring this awareness even for boys or even for men. We always invite men to join our activities, because we want to eliminate the gap that exists of genders. We don't want to say that only women should be in this area. We need the support of everyone and the awareness. So
That's
we focus
true. Yes,
on that.
because men also need to be aware of what women go through, or
and
be more
women need to be aware of what men go through as well.
Exactly. Yes, there is pressure on both sides in different ways, I would say. Chris, do you want to take the next question?
Yes, sure. But definitely a great journey, I think, that you went through, and for a very important mission. But now, if you agree, let's go a bit more concrete, let's say, in your experience. Maybe if you can share some of the key challenges that women often face in the tech industry, and how can organizations in Luxembourg and also abroad address these challenges?
Basically, what I see is that there is a lack of role models, and there is also communication that comes from your early ages, which create bias or stereotypes about what are the best fitting roles for a woman or a man. So this altogether creates the challenge of being the minority. So it's not a secret that we have much less women who decide to go to technology careers at university. This is our starting point. We are a lower number. We have to learn to be the minority. And again, in principle, there is no problem, and many women will manage to navigate. But there are others that will feel demotivated along the path because of that lack of role models and seeing themselves as a woman with other challenges that a woman can have, like having kids, and dealing with personal life and personal priorities with career priorities, how to continue and how to get to these leadership roles. So this is what I see at least more often. Of course, this problem of the pipeline continues to be I think the key issue, and is how we can increase from the interest of girls, young women to come into technology areas, but also for women at any stage of their career to keep motivated, because yes, there is a possibility always to develop and to continue growing in the technology areas. And second, or if you want to change because you want to get tech is becoming trendy, technology is every day in all discussions. You need to be equipped at some point in technology area. So to feel less afraid to jump into these new topics. And I think that's also one of the challenges that I often see, that we see it like if it's a gray, black box. Technology sounds like a very hard, complex topic. And we should be more risk, let's say, open to jump, to start discussing, to start learning about this. So that's
maybe just before we jump to Vasiliki, what do you think can organizations do to try and tackle these challenges? Of course, it's not organizations to solve everything because there's a cultural aspect and so on that you mentioned that is also important. But what concretely?
And schools have a role to play too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So I think, yes, we have the external associations which are working quite good on these topics lately. So we see the networking is growing, the awareness is growing, and there is a very positive feedback, and we see a lot of interest and a network that is growing very fast. From organization perspective, I can speak about PwC. Because here at PwC, effectively, based on all this experience, we launched a Women in Tech community that was launched last year. And it's actually opening the opportunity for all our women in tech to connect. We have different objectives in this community. First is to be more responsible to attract more women. So making sure that when there are job openings or in our networks, we are trying to bring more women in the pipeline, so for future job roles, but also to create that sorority, that community that helps to empower ourselves. So we, at some point, lack promoting ourselves because we are less and because we are probably not that used to do that. Mm-hmm. It happens more naturally, I would say, in the male group because, it's bigger and they are probably more confident into that career. So we're trying to boost this mindset and creating more motivation and empowerment to go ahead with the careers. It doesn't mean everyone, will continue to go that far, but at least we can create or, let's say, give that opportunity for those that wants to have that support and to provide the tools and equip them into getting more strong and confident on the next steps of the tech career.
Good. Vasiliki, do you want to add on the challenges and if you see other things outside, let's say, of PwC that organizations can do to tackle these challenges?
Of course. I fully agree with what Yoliana said. Also, to highlight that what you mentioned about schools, I fully agree that it's the most important part. We need to start from there. I remember in a panel event we had last year, a girl with some school children, a girl came to us and said, this workshop is so cool. I found out so much about artificial intelligence. And there is a group in my school that does these activities and coding, but I cannot go there because it's only boys. And hearing that from a teenage girl, it's something that makes you worry. So maybe boys are already interested in that, but why not having also teachers empowering more the girls to try it out? This is something that I wanted to give as an example because it is really, really important. Other than that, the challenges come from the fact that we are afraid to communicate what we do. We have the feeling that men might show off on sharing their achievements, but it's not like that. They are not showing off. They are just feeling more confident to talk about what they are doing, and it's totally fine. On our side, we might perceive this as a challenge, as a competition, and we might not always share or the work environment what we do. And it's not like that because it's not the problem of men or women. It's all of us to communicate what we do and to share with each other what we learn. And there is a misunderstanding there that I think that sometimes it stops women from doing one step further of even asking for a raise, asking for a promotion. We don't see a lot of women in managerial positions. This is something very rare. And that can result to the outcome of women even leaving the area of tech. because they feel that they do not have the skills for tech. But the problem is not tech, it's how we feel. So what we have been seeing over the last years of what we are doing is that a lot of women have the interest to enter tech and to join this area, but not a lot of them are staying there. So this is linked to what companies and organizations can do to provide more material to women to stay in this field, whether it has to do with trainings, continuous learning, providing this opportunity during the job itself, and also collaborate with other kinds of associations and we are a lot today, to find more profiles and to understand better how to enter the job market. Because we have already seen that there is a big amount of women that even in Luxembourg has joined Luxembourg. They might be looking for a job. Their CVs, their profiles are amazing, but they are still struggling to find a job. So I see a gap between the demand and the offer we have, because there is a lot of demand, there is a lot of offer, but somehow there are still many women that are looking for a job. So if we can have companies giving more information of what they need, how they can support, how they can prepare women to enter the job market, that could be another starting point.
That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I see you nodding, Chris.
Yes.
How is it in your department, actually?
In techno, related to what?
No, do you have female colleagues?
Not a lot, I would say, honestly. Even in my close team, there's not a lot. I have a number of them left already, but yeah, definitely the majority are male.
And do you know why? I would like to have a male perspective on it. I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't really know why. I know that we're working on it. Maybe slowly, maybe we could do more. But I know it's something that we're working on internally.
You can work with Yoliana for that.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think actually that is not a bad idea, because at PwC, we have the community and we want to see how men can support us more, into this journey or the objective too. And finally, it's not us alone who can create this inclusive or supportive environment, and men play a key role into helping that objective to be achieved. So welcome to the
Thank you.
We have today one workshop, by the way. This afternoon we will be playing one workshop for the women in tech community, and yes, we're looking forward to get also men participation. I think it will be great also to hear and to get that views and support from them.
Is this a first event, or you've run these events before?
We run it every month and a half since last year when we started. Actually, it was kind of an exercise to launch the community. So we did a trial pilot. It worked quite well. And then since then, we officially have the community at PwC. Now it's part officially of the DEI office of the Women and Men pillar, where we do different activities precisely to help to achieve the gender balance objectives of the firm. So yes, we do different activities. We have workshops organized, and in each workshop we discuss different topics, as I mentioned before, like that can become a tool, that can give you some tips that can help equipping and making our women in tech more confident, or at least more clear into how to strive in their careers, how to face those challenges that normally might get them into demotivation or not feeling confident.
That's the keyword of this episode, confidence.
Yes.
And just one last unlisted question: Do you have a lot of men coming to the workshops? Do you see a lot of males interested in helping the cause?
I have to say that we have not opened the invitations to our men colleagues, and probably a takeaway from this discussion.
So that's why I don't know about it.
But you can join us today, in fact, and yes, it's a good point. As part of the Women and Men program, we are working more into how we can create a more inclusive mindset, and also how men play a role into this. It's probably not only technology oriented, but general, because it's our PwC objective. But it would be definitely great to have some of our colleagues in the girls or women in tech events.
Great.
Not internally, but on the external events that have been actually delivered with Girls in Tech, we have had instead quite a nice men participation and support. So this has been open every time, because we have also a sponsor from PwC. There is a big support to the Girls in Tech Association, and we have been able to deliver together workshops that are both either for soft skills or for technology topics. And we see that there is quite an interesting support and participation from men of different industries, and also internal. We have had some of our colleagues also joining.
We have also some men volunteers, which is really empowering for us as well.
That's amazing. Yes.
Well, women are the majority, but we have to be the majority in order to move forward. But yeah.
Great. I think it's really important that because both men and women have struggles, and sometimes we are not aware of each other's issues and struggles and lack of confidence. And I think if there is better communication and if we are aware of each other, again, I'm going to repeat myself, struggles, it's easier to work together and for the better, basically. So the next question is for you, Yoliana. As the sponsorships and partnerships manager at Girls in Tech Luxembourg, you play a crucial role in establishing collaborations. How do potential partners perceive the initiative and its vision?
Indeed. So my aim and my role has been to attract and onboard companies into supporting our program delivery. That means we need some sponsors to help us to make happen, to provide the hosting, to equip us with all the things we need, and financial aid including, to deliver and to continue our association activities. Say that, I'm very pleased to see the positive reaction of the market. We have approached different companies which have been very supportive into our objective, which also have commented that they face the same situation, meaning they also want to increase the women rate into the women participation into technology positions. At this point, we have, of course, PwC, BNP Paribas, Ensebo Group, and other sponsors that have been contributing to help us to deliver the programs. And by events, we also have been able to find specific sponsorships, for example, or we have a nice program now that will be launched actually the 9th of March, is the BI Academy. The BI Academy has as an objective to equip women that have no tech background in BI topics. There will be 3 months of different sessions where we expect that these women that will be participating will be equipped to go out and start working on some BI-related jobs. So we have gotten different support from the government as well. So the SMC, the Department of Media, Telecommunications and Digital Policy of Luxembourg. We also got for the anniversary of the association's Luxembourg Stock Exchange, who has been also sponsoring us. So quite a very positive, actually, response. Very, very glad to say that there is a common interest, there is a good momentum, and we are not, let's say, alone into this objective. From partnership perspective, so what I wanted to clarify is partners are those that share our mission. And we have found in Luxembourg very interesting partners who have helped us to also collaborate together to deliver some programs. So we see that, for example, House of Trainings, the Chamber of Commerce, and Workshop for Me have been very proactive into collaborating to deliver some of the programs like Vasiliki was mentioning before. There was one very nice...
AI for families.
Yes.
It was both parents and kids.
Yes, you want to speak about that one? It was very interesting.
Yeah, I can quickly speak about it. So it was a very nice initiative that we wanted to do for a very long time, where we wanted to bring together in a room both the kids, but also their parents. So because no matter how many things the kid wants to learn, if the parent does not have the knowledge to support, it might not be easy to follow up. Or on the other side, if the parent wants their kid to be involved, they have to be there also to give the initiative. So it was a collaboration with Workshop for Me, one of our partners, and we combined in this event something that was interesting for both the parents but the kids too. It was a panel discussion about artificial intelligence, what it is, what are the dangers that it might hide, why should parents need to be aware of how their kids are using artificial intelligence. And it was a very nice and fruitful discussion with many questions and even small quizzes to understand, even from small images, what is built with AI, what is not built with AI. And as a second part of that event, we had a workshop where it was a hands-on workshop. The kids had to use a tool in order to create some filters in front of a camera using AI technology. And it was really fun and creative. And I think we should organize more.
Definitely.
More of those.
This is one of my favorite.
We already have something else in the pipeline. We will share, of course, our next plans later on. But since this is related to kids, we are also planning of having a workshop where kids will be able to build their own robot. Yes, later this year to celebrate also the Robotics Week.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
And maybe just finally to close about partnerships, I think the associations in general, associations in Luxembourg are working very close also to support each one aims. So maybe not only technology here oriented, but there is coming, an event for the celebration of the International Women's Day, where we have, I think, around 6-7 associations also working on women empowering that are going to celebrate and to actually organize a very nice event to share network, but moreover to support the objective of each association participating.
Okay, so now let's look a bit ahead at the future, and maybe also, since we're closing the podcast, at any tips or piece of advice that you can share with girls and women that are actually listening to the podcast and maybe beginning their journey in a tech career.
Yes, I can give some tips. The main tip, actually, is to never stop learning. Always learn. Even if we come from a different background, even if we are career changers, we should not diminish our previous experience. Everything is important and everything can be connected at some point in our life. We have to keep learning. If we want to find out about new tools, we need to search online, to listen to podcasts like this one, to find e-courses, to connect with people and to network. Every opportunity is valuable. Perhaps in the beginning we might not see it, but it's there. And we need to find ways which is not easy at all, to really communicate more. It's what we said before, but it's the only thing. This will unlock us and will open us at the door to a world where we will find more opportunities to say, okay, now I said that, maybe I can search for something more around this language or around this tool, and I can discuss it with a colleague. And I'm not afraid to discuss with a colleague. I'm not afraid to say that I don't know something. And this is one of the first points. And even if it's 5 minutes reading per day, it's always enough. We might feel overwhelmed. We might realize that there is too many information out there in the world. We cannot know everything, and that's fine. And as long as we keep learning, we will discover what we like. Just by giving you a very, very small and quick example, it's that myself, I realized that I want to go into coding after I finished the University of Computer Science. And I was so focused in writing code But only the last 2-3 years, I realized that, you know what, I want to work so much in IT, to work with IT teams, but I don't have to be the one writing code. I realized that I love more being around a team, coordinating the work that we have to do, seeing the value of the product. It doesn't mean that this is not tech. So there can be many different areas of tech, but we just need to find them out. And if we need to ask someone to search for a mentor, for some guidance, it doesn't matter if it's a very senior person or the CEO of a company doing that. We can always ask for advice. And that would be my main point.
Thank you, Vasiliki. Yoliana?
Well, I think what Vasiliki says it is super important, and probably I will just try to summarize into few topics. So first, for me, is being curious and not being afraid. So talk about new topics, navigate and learn, as Vasiliki will say, and the tips I think are great. Then network, because also networking will help to lose this fear to talk about the topics, and it's incredible how you learn from the others.
So that realize that we are not alone.
Exactly, that we are not alone, that people have the same feeling, but not only that, that you can start deep diving into these interesting technology topics, and that you learn much faster also by being in contact with those people and what they have to tell. And I think the third one would be doing this will help to find what is your fitting area. So there are many things happening in technology. There are many areas where you can work on. Try to find the fit and look for what that makes you tick. Exactly. And then you are good. You're good. Just start planning the career and visualize how you see yourself growing into that area. So
not an easy thing to do.
No, sometimes it takes a lifetime.
Yes, but it's very important indeed.
Yes.
Find your why, and
But when you find that passionates you, you know, when you feel you need to believe in that, and that's where the communities and the networks will help you to keep that confidence and to keep you focused and to keep you, let's say, help make you feel stronger into achieving an objective, because it's natural, it's human that, you know, every new job will pose challenges. Every time when you learn, you will sometimes feel it just suffer a bit depending on your experience, but this is normal, this is human, so that's
part of the journey.
It's part of the journey, exactly. So we need to learn to enjoy that journey.
Thank you so much, Vasiliki and Yoliana, for sharing your stories and also for your mission, which is very, very important. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing your stories today.
Thanks to you, Carla.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And that's all for today. This is Tech Talk, technology made simple over a cup of coffee. Don't miss out on any future episode by hitting subscribe. Thank you for listening to this episode, and see you in the next one.